Next up, we have Thiago Santos, former MuleSoft ambassador and integration architect at Roche. He is now joining us as a Muley on the customer success team, and we are extremely happy to have him. Many of you may recognize Thiago Santos as he has been a leading member of the MuleSoft community for a very long time, even reaching ambassador status. Today, he's going to share with you how to send customized multi-part emails using Mule 4. Thiago, take it away.
Hello, my name is Thiago Santos, and I'm gonna be walking through how to send multi-part alternative mails using Mule 4. The agenda is gonna be pretty straightforward today. We're gonna have our speaker intro and talking about multi-part alternative mails, the importance of responsive and adaptive design, challenges with the existing email connector 1.4, and how to debug the solution locally. I'm going to be also walking through some tools which I use to design, test, and validate all my multi-part alternative solutions. Okay, let's start with my intro. My name is Thiago Santos. I'm a MuleSoft ambassador and also an architect with 20 years of experience in the field. I have been working in multiple regions globally, and I'm currently based in Ontario, Canada. Let's talk about what's a multi-part alternative email. A multi-part alternative email is a mail that bundles different content types as part of a single message. As you can see here on this slide, this kind of mails can cover most of your client's configurations because it can include like different content types, including texts, Apple Watch HTML, and a normal HTML that could be responsive if you prefer. A multi-part alternative email, it's wrapped by a single content type called multi-part alternative, and also use one thing called boundary, which is used to define every single content type used on that email message. Let's talk about the multipart subtypes. There are many subtypes available as part of the multipart family. Let's start with mix. The mix multipart subtype, it's used to send attachments in most of cases. We also have the digest one, which is used to send email threads. In this case, for example, if you do have like a long communication chain as part of the email message, that content type is going to be used to show all the previous replies. We also have related, where you have like some sort of offline message when you cover, for example, a HTML which is making reference to its own images attachments. We also have the report type, which is commonly used for MDRs, which stands for non-delivery reports. For example, when an email bounces back from a server because the recipient doesn't exist or its email box is full, that's the kind of email that you're going to receive back from the server. And unfortunately, at this point of time, that's not readable from by the Mule connector. That should be done manually and using like a custom solution, as I'm gonna be demo soon. We also have two types used for encrypted messages, which is called signed and encrypted, as well with the form data, which is used to submit data through HTML forms, and Xmix is replaced, which is used to string over HTTP. Let's talk about the email connector 1.4. There is nothing wrong with the email connector 1.4. In other words, it's a very stable solution for your project. It can be used to work with all the existing email protocols, including SMTP, SMTPS, or IMAP, without any issues, right? And it's pretty simple to use. It's just plug and play. You can go to your Exchange and make a reference in your project to your profile and start using straight away. The only cause at this specific point of time is its support to multi-part alternative messages. Its current form, it only supports text-related messages, including plain and HTML, one per time. You cannot send multiple formats as part of the single message. For example, using the connector, at this point of time, I'm not able to send a text message along with a HTML message as part of this single scope. I must send two messages separately. That's one of the limitations. One of the things that we are going to walk through now is how to use Java and send our messages through different content types. Okay, before we move into our demo, let's talk about the importance of having like a responsive and adaptive design. A responsive design is when a design arranges itself on the client screen. For example, if the client start reading the email on a landscape position, and the message can look like something, right? It's going to have all its elements more distributed. But whenever he flips into the landscape modes, the message itself should be rearranged with like a more lean and compact design in order to fit properly on the client screen. That's called responsive design, when the elements rearrange itself according to the screen size, right? By the end of the day, it looks a little bit different than adaptive design, when the whole design is just flexible and will be resizing according to the size itself, but following exactly the same distribution, the same content distribution. Let's talk about the Apple Watch HTML. There are some clients that would prefer to send messages to Apple Watch users. In this case, like these messages could be a little bit simpler than a normal HTML messages. In most of cases, could cover only a rich text with basic information in order to reach users that are always on the go. For example, I'm going to give you a fitness app that's sending emails on runtime, like during a workout, for example. They know that their users are going to be reading these messages during their activities. That's why it's very important to use this specific content type for this message delivery, just to cover important information during these activities. Okay, if we see the Apple Watch HTML, we see that it supports basic rich text HTML configuration, include bold, italic, underline, font color, and some bullet lists. It also supports images, but the images should be available offline and also be being referenced through its content ID, as must know as a CID. Let's talk about also some design and testing tools. I have used before a couple of really good tools to design and build like multipart alternative emails. I really recommend the use of Mail Designer 365, where you can use to design and build your newsletters, your communication, and also preview to a set of devices and its orientations. In other side, we also have some web solutions like Litmus Builder, where it can provide you some templates and help you visualize the orientation of your newsletter. In order to test, we do have Puts Email, where it can be used to send messages using different content types, including HTML, text, and an Apple Watch. And last but not least, we do have MailHog, which can be used to debug, to help you debug these messages locally. MailHog support multiple content types, and it would be a great tool to help you visualize how your solution is sending these messages. Let's walk through our demo. The first step required for our demo is going to be set our library reference on our POM file. First, we're going to use our some mail library in order to send emails through Java, and also JavaX activation, which is going to help us activate some additional libraries required through our configuration. As part of this demo, I'm also providing you 3 classes that should be and could be used like as part of your project. One class is used to as a model class to help you instantiate a new email message that's going to include all the required properties, including subject line, recipient, BCC, CC, reply to, multiple body types, and attachments as well. We do have an attachment class, which is just like it's going to be used by the message class, and our message transport class, which is going to be used to send our emails, multi-part alternative emails, just to be clear. Okay, step number 3, we are going to be instantiating our message model class with all the required properties as defined before, including subject. We can define our SMTP, the ports. In this case, if you're using TLS, you can also define the certificates path, the JKS path as well, as part of the configuration, the service configuration property. And that's exactly how we're going to instantiate our class. And last but not least, we're going to be sending our email. Our email, message property, is going to be based on the object instantiated by step number 3. And that's it. The method is going to return 200 if you succeed, and also a true as part of the Java class and method return type. In case of exceptions, the Java class itself is going to return its related exception that can be fully managed by your Mule flow. Okay, I'm going to walk you through the whole demo right now, and I hope you enjoy. Thank you so much.
Let's start with our solution. In order to begin, let's please clone the solution from our Bitbucket repo that's publicly available for anyone interested on sending multi-part alternative emails using custom Java code at this point of time. Please bear in mind that we also have our ideas portal where you can vote for this feature to be covered as part of the next email connector release. Okay, let's start. This solution is already built using the required reference on our POM file. As you can see here, we are already referencing the JavaX artifact, JavaX mail artifact ID here in our POM file, and also the JavaX activation artifact in order to support some custom properties as part of the solution. After we clone the solution locally, this is how the whole project is going to look like on your Anypoint Studio. Let's start with the flows available. We do have one flow available with all the configuration elements, including global properties for our new environment, vault key, one also for HTTP listener, and also for some configuration properties. Aside from that, we also have our flow to send these emails, okay? If we look at our flow, we do have two basic steps. It requires two basic steps. The first one is to instantiate our model message class with all the required properties, okay? What that means, if we expand that, we are gonna see that this first step requires to define the protocol that we're gonna plan to use to send this email. We can enable TLS if required. It's not mandatory at this point. We can force authentication. We can also define the SMTP host that's going to be used. In this case here, I'm using like a custom MuleSoft YAML property. And here, right below, we do have a port, the port number that we are using at. Okay, for this demo, we are using MailHog as a local email client. Okay, MailHog can be downloaded for free. I'm gonna be providing the website on the presentation, where you're gonna be able to test how your messages are looking like. As well, you can simulate some exceptions, common exceptions thrown by any email client. Okay, going back to our solution, we can enable like as many properties as we want. Of course, each SMTP server, it requires different properties. Okay, in this case, MailHog, it's only using a normal username and password, which are defined here. We also defining like a custom header, okay, which has its own value based on this. It's just like a normal string concatenated with a random guild value. We do also have like a list of attachments composed by its file name, content, base 64 representation, and its content type. Aside from that, we have our subject line, sender, email address. It could be like a collection of address. We also have our recipients, reply to, CC, BCC, and body parts. Okay. Please bear in mind that this component respects the right sequence of each content type. In this case here, we are starting with text plan, followed by Apple Watch, which is it's called text slash watch dash HTML, and also text HTML, which is going to be our most like advanced content type, which is going to be available for like modern clients. Okay, after we instantiate our class, our message model message class with all the required properties, then the next step required is just to invoke statically our message transport class. As you can see here, we are invoking these statically. That means we are not using any object in order to invoke this class. With this method, we are just invoking that directly based on our payload. In this case, the payload is the object instantiated on our first step here. Okay, that said, if we expand this here, you're gonna see that we are using that object as part of our message parameter in our class, in our method, in our send method from the mail.message transport class. Okay, pretty straightforward. After invoking that class, as you saw, it returns like true or false, right? If that succeeds, it's gonna return true, and if it fails, return false. If we go here to our console, the application is already running. I have already logged some steps being like performed as part of the operation. And then the next step here will be to invoke our send endpoint. As you can see here, the payload contains like one attachment called awesome.pmg, which is a PNG file. In this case here, I have written like a content-based 64 representation of that file. I also defined like the sender email address, the recipient addresses here. Okay, in this case, I only have one BCC and one CC, alongside with a reply to. Okay, in this case, I do have 3 content types available. I have my subject line available, and the only thing required is to post this raw JSON message through Postman on any other REST client. Okay, in this case here, as you can see, it succeeds. We got back a 200 OK. We also got like a true. And if we look out in our mail hog, you can see that our message is already available here in our inbox. If we click to see, you're gonna see that we do have 2 versions of the same message. We have the HTML representation of that message, and we also have the text version of that message. As this is just like a email client used to debug message, you can also see our like Apple Watch version here available and also our attachment available as part of the message. As you can see here, this is how our attachment looks like, awesome.png. And that's how our solution has been built. Okay, again, this solution is available for download. If you're planning to send these Multipart alternative emails, in order to consolidate multiple formats and make sure that you're covering all your clients' configurations without maintaining multiple email lists, right? That's very important, especially nowadays with so many options available in the market. And yeah, I think that's gonna be like fantastic just to improve user experience in your communications. And yes, please use our ideas portal from Usoft to vote in this idea. If you would like to see this feature available out of the box within the email connector, hopefully with the next version 1.5. Okay. Thank you so much for your time. I hope you enjoyed the content, and please feel free to reach me out at Thiago Santos at thiagosantos.com.br in case of any questions, or in LinkedIn. I'll be available to clarify your questions. Thank you so much and have a great day. Bye bye.